Now this place is a factory, right?
Yeah, it was an old metal factory used for generations here, right along the creek with the back, and there's a railway that used to run behind here also to help transport stuff. Um, Railway's not used very often anymore, and the creek's still running, of course, but the factory just vacated years and years ago, and then a business, a local business, kind of bought up all the factories, and now they slowly started. Axeman went in, Titan Hollow went in, the market went in. I came in, so like little spots have been taken up by kind of local fun businesses here in the area.
Yeah, it's got a super cool vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I remember seeing some pictures. What did it take to get the space ready?
It was actually, before I came in here, it was being used like as a garage, like a repair garage for a guy that worked on, I think, motorcycles. So he would bring the motorcycles in and work on them here in this small space. And not to mention, it was already super dirty and dusty from being a metal factory. So that guy never cleaned it up or worked on it. So it was used by a man was like working on motorcycles in here, literally. So not only was the bones of the place like an old metal factory, like concrete floors, the brick was exposed, cinder block in here, and like exposed ceiling, and nothing as what it seems now, for sure. Every square inch of this place I've covered either with paint or with the floor or carpeting. So like it was a mess. And what was interesting was, like, I was working on the windows. I had to take all the windows off because I wanted to restring. They were like the old-fashioned counterweight windows, which are cool, so I wanted to keep those. But so I had to take them all off, and as I'm like deep cleaning them with a screwdriver, I'm like noticing all these particles are just sticking to it, because it's magnetized. Screwdrivers sometimes get magnetized, and I'm like, holy cow, this is just a whole lot of metal shavings. Like the dust in here was like metal particles, like shavings, if you will. And so I was even joking with people, like, and that was at the tail end. I had already cleaned and cleaned and cleaned and cleaned for months. And then I finally figured that out. I'm like, I could have just brought a magnet through here and basically picked up all the fragments of metal that were everywhere. So that was the interesting part. So it was messy, and it was not prepared to be a record store, for sure. And so I worked for that summer, for sure, painting. The two things that I did have the folks that own this place do were create the ramp, because I didn't feel comfortable about that. There was a good 6-inch drop from the door down, so I wanted like it to be wheelchair accessible or ADA compliant if needed. And so they created that entranceway basically there. And then also I did not feel comfortable up here at the high ceiling, and it was like multi-level ceiling. It went even higher than this, so I had to ask them to please just give me a flat surface. It doesn't need to be beautiful, doesn't need to be pretty, just use whatever wood. I'll paint it and everything, just give me one flat surface. So they did that for me, the contracting company, and then they did the ramp. Everything else I've done, literally everything else I've done. Painting, carpeting, flooring, all the electricity, all the lights, the fans, most recently did the back room lighting and the carpeting back there. Removed like a lot of demo stuff. Like, it was just tons and tons of work, but it was like fun because I like doing that stuff, and I kind of had a vision of what I wanted it to look like, and so I wanted to retain some of like that old feel. So I kind of used older light fixtures and yeah, it was definitely a labor of love for that, for sure, that summer. And then like when I got to August or September, I'm like, I gotta open this place at some point. So I established like October 1 was my open date. So then that really, of course, encouraged like then weekends and nights leading up to that. Definitely in the month of September 22 was like a lot of time and effort putting the finishing touches on it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yep. It was a ton of work.